What is up? Welcome to another edition of SacTown Movie Buffs. Once again, I'm Pierre, and this is Jason, and today we are back doing our second half of our top 10 films of 2017. So part two, obviously, this is going to be number 5 through number 1. We may also have some honorable mentions, and then we'll also do our challenge films at the very end for 2018, which is our last year of our top 10s. We're starting from 1995 when we first met, moving all the way up to basically the present, because we once again have already done 2019 and 2020. So after that, we're just pretty much just doing the ones in the future, unless we decide at some point to go back and do older films prior to 1995. So, which I'm not in a big hurry to do. So I may end up doing that at some point, but definitely not anytime in the next month or two for sure. Or whenever we finish 2018. So, which, who knows with the way things have been going. Well, it could be the end of the year before we even finish those up, and then we're already on 2021 top 10. So, you just never know. You just never know. There's a lot of movies I need to catch up on and all that good stuff. Well, obviously, we have a lot of movies to catch up on, so I am going to get right into it. I am going to go back. If you saw our previous show, we always do our challenge films on the first show, where we will challenge each other to films of the upcoming year. So like in 2006, for 2016, we challenged each other to 2 films for 2017. I challenged Jason to The Hitman's Bodyguard. We couldn't remember what he challenged me to because it was like 2 months ago or something like that. So he couldn't remember and I couldn't remember. I totally just forgot about what it was. But then we finally figured it out. So that film was Mom and Dad. So I'll do my quick review of that right now. Mom and Dad is a Nicolas Cage film. So you kind of already know you're getting wacky, crazy, insane. And this film, and it's not really a spoiler, but basically, in a nutshell, all of the parents in this film, and I won't go into why or how, basically, at some point in the film, decide to turn on their kids and try to attack and kill them, basically. So it's kind of a horror comedy, if you will, because there are a lot of funny parts, and it's always like Nicolas Cage being Nicolas Cage. So he's obviously an adult and has kids and turns into kind of a bad guy. And there's a reason why the parents are attacking their kids, and they're only attacking their own kids. They're not attacking any other kids, in a nutshell, unless another kid's in their way of attacking their own kids. They're only attacking their own kids to like kill them, basically. And no real rhyme or reason as to why they want to kill their own kids. I mean, there is a reason, but there's not really a specific reason why. So it's kind of hard to explain. But in a nutshell, I liked it. It's crazy, it's wacky, it's over the top. Like I said, it's Nicolas Cage. His films are always crazy, wacky. You're either gonna like those films or you're not. Some I obviously like more than others. This one's kind of right in the middle. It's not like the top echelons of the ones that I really love, but it's definitely not the ones that I hate either. But I did like it. I think I gave it like a 3 out of 5. So it was a good film. It was fun. Won't make my top 10 or anything of that nature for this year, but definitely was a fun film. So like I said, and it's been like a couple months since I've seen it, so my memory maybe just a little bit fuzzy, but I definitely do remember enjoying it and laughing at some parts, and definitely love some of the scenes in there for sure. So, but good choice.
Yeah. Oh, thanks. Yeah. I remember liking that one. I've only seen it once, and it's been a couple of years now at least. But I do remember liking it. What I remember is that I don't remember why. But I remember that I didn't care for the ending, and I don't remember why. But it just seemed like the ending was very, just kind of a anticlimactic, just kind of
ending. And I think I would agree with that as well. There's not really a full closure, and it kind of leaves things it's a little anticlimactic at the ending. You know what I mean? It doesn't leave a lot of closure to some things without going into spoilers. So I want to say that I had a little bit of trouble with the ending as well, and it ends kind of abruptly also, you know what I mean? So you don't really know exactly, how that situation is going to unfold at the end, basically. So that'd be my only small gripe about it, I guess, if you will. So.
Yeah, and it's not that I don't like ambiguous endings. I don't mind abrupt endings or, ambiguous or even anticlimactic endings, but it still needs to be satisfying, and it wasn't
Yeah,
like it didn't end in a satisfying way.
Yeah,
you know?
all the things that led up to that were pretty good. And
Yeah.
then the ending happens, and you're just kind of like, okay, that's it. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
so yeah, I don't know.
Yeah. But I don't remember what happens at the end. I just remember that feeling. But everything up until then, I thought was really good. And of course, I love Nicolas Cage. I can't understand why anybody would not love to just watch Nicolas Cage do whatever he wants to at any time.
And he most certainly does. That's one
he
thing I
does
about
do
him.
exactly
I mean, and all
that.
these
Yeah.
movies are like they're almost always violent in some kind of way, and they're almost always like weird and strange. You know what I mean? Like he's you know, if it's got a weird plot or title or weird subject matter, it's like he reads the script and is like, oh, I'm in.
Yeah, I know. Yeah. And it was also just good to see Selma Blair. I hadn't seen Selma Blair in anything in a while.
She plays the mom. She plays his wife in there. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, forgot about her.
Yeah. So I mean, it was just cool casting. It's a cool concept because I mean, we've seen lots of movies where the children go bad and try to kill their parents, but I can't think of many where like the parents go mad for some reason and try to kill their kids like all over the world.
Yeah, not already crazy. Yeah, they just snap for whatever reason and decide to kill their kids. I mean, obviously there's the stepfather or something of that nature, but never like just naturally or bad people. So
like all parents everywhere all of a sudden out of nowhere, kind of.
Exactly.
It's a neat concept. I enjoyed it. I don't remember a whole lot about it. I remember a few specific scenes, but I thought you would get a kick out of it.
Yeah, no, I liked it. It was a good choice. Yeah.
Cool. Yeah. Well, of course it was. Yeah.
Well, let's roll right into our top 5 for 2017. I'll actually start this one off. So I'll start with my number 5, and that is going to be Ladybird. It's my number 5. So Ladybird is actually a comedy that was actually filmed primarily here in Sacramento. So it's a hometown film that we all saw together, I thought, right? Did we see that together?
No, I saw that on my birthday.
Okay.
I remember I saw that.
Maybe. I know I saw it in theaters. I can't remember if we saw that together, though. But she's basically kind of like a teenager who is kind of a coming-of-age film. She's a teenager getting ready to graduate from high school and kind of deciding where she wants to go with her life. Thinking about moving out of state to like New York to go to school and that kind of stuff. And, there's a conflict with her parents and it's kind of a quirky comedy, if you will, coming of age film. She's a little annoying, I guess, if you will, if you really think about her. You know what I mean? She's like one of those characters that, she reminds me of, what's that actress's name from, who's always like annoying in films, from True Blood. Suki, what's
Anna Paquin?
Yeah, she's in a lot of those movies where she's like plays like this like annoying character and like those like back
entitled like Margaret. Yeah,
always like the 25th Hour. She was in that. She played like this entitled like annoying character, or that was it
Margaret?
For like Mother something I can't remember what it was called, but she was in some other the one where she's like the woman's like gets like hit by a bus or whatever. She's like
Margaret,
yeah, that's that one. So she kind of reminds me of that character in this one, but not quite as entitled, but still that same kind of annoying teenager, think I know everything kind of personality a little bit. So but it's a good story. I liked it. Like I said, it was definitely fun movie, and like I said, it had all it's cool watching a movie that's set here locally in Sacramento because it had a lot of the scenery and things of that nature, like popular locales here in the area. So like I said, overall I thought it was a really good film and enjoyed it for sure. So I haven't seen it again since then, but I definitely did like it quite a bit. So that is my number 5.
Cool. I love Ladybird. It's actually a little higher up on my list. I agree with you. Like, it's, Greta Gerwig, who directed it, wrote and directed it, grew up here in Sacramento. So she, and most of it was filmed here in Sacramento, very recognizable locations. So that doesn't happen very often here. You know what I mean? So it was a pretty big deal locally. I remember when this movie came out. And the fact that it was actually good, it wasn't just some crappy local movie or something. You know what I
For
mean?
sure.
Yeah. So it's and the lead character is definitely not perfect. You know what I
No,
mean? Like,
not
but I
not at
think
all.
that's the idea. I think that's the idea behind it. I think she's supposed to be a flawed character. A lot of teenagers are annoying. I mean, let's be honest. Except me, I was really cool as a teenager. Uh, but I mean, you do get to see her mature, and but at the end of the movie, you do feel like some personal growth has occurred.
Yeah.
But it's really funny. It's very moving. It's got like very good acting in it. And it's just a really good coming of age movie. It's one of those movies that you have a hard time like getting people excited about it that
Right.
haven't heard
Yeah,
of it or
if you
whatever.
describe it like even me, I describing it, it was like this quirky coming of age film, and it's kind of hard to really go into details about the film other than to give too much blow by blow of kind of what she's doing and what's happening. And like I said, it's just best described as a quirky coming of age film, if you will. So
It is, and it's a good like mother-child story too. Like
yeah,
the
yeah,
heart
yeah,
of the movie is her relationship with her mother,
right.
and there's a lot to identify with that, for almost anyone, I would think.
For sure.
It's just a real good movie. So yeah, I thoroughly enjoy that movie. Yeah, good choice.
Sure. Cool. Moving right along to your number 5, and I don't know, for some reason I don't know what happened to my camera, but it got all blurry all of a sudden. So sorry about that. But moving on to your number 5, and I'll bring that in, and that is going to be Baby Driver.
Baby Driver. So yeah, we already talked about this in the last show because it was in the bottom half of your top 10. But it's just Edgar Wright, one of my favorite filmmakers. He made Shaun of the Dead, Hot Fuzz, The World's End, Scott Pilgrim versus the World. What's the other one that I always forget? I don't know. Anyway, he's one of my favorite filmmakers, and it's just a really cool like action adventure with like a amazing soundtrack, which is always a big deal for me. It's funny. It's got great characters. We talked about it last time though. So, and that's another movie that kind of came out of nowhere, and I think was kind of a surprise hit. And we got a sequel coming, which I'm excited about. So yeah, it's just a real cool movie. Just pure enjoyment. That movie.
Yeah.
Yeah,
it was kind of a movie that I didn't seem like it was a big hit, but it has a lot of people in it. You know what I mean? That was the thing about it. But it did kind of just seem like it did kind of come out of nowhere and didn't have as much hype or fanfare as I thought that a movie like that would have with the cast and stars of it. But no, definitely enjoyed it for sure.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, but at the same time, almost everybody I know who I bring it up to, like almost everybody I know has seen it. You know what I mean? Maybe they didn't see it till it was on TV or something, but pretty much everybody I know saw it somewhere along the way and liked it. So that's probably why we got a sequel coming.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Cool. All right, moving right along to my number 4 film, and I'll bring that in, and that is going to be John Wick 2. So yeah, I really love this one quite a bit. I love that series though, to be honest with you. I'm a big fan of the John Wick series. I love these types of films. They're just tailor made for me, just like those solid action revenge films where just, he's just on a tear, basically just, destroying everything in his path. And, there's a lot of really good villains in this one. They definitely amped up the game, I felt like, from the first one. In terms of, the whole, you really got to see the whole like world that they live in. Like the first one, you know about the concierge and stuff like that, but you don't realize that there's a whole like subculture of that, and it really explores into that world. You know what I mean? Where there's a continental in almost every city, countries. There's different continentals, different sacred grounds for like hitman's paradises, I guess, if you will. So where they can go and stay and that kind of stuff. And so I really did love this one quite a bit. I thought it was great. I always have a tough time ranking the 3 of them. I know I really like the first one. I really like this one too as well, and I kind of have them on equal footing. So, but I definitely really enjoyed this one, and it's just just like I said, these movies are just tailor made for me. So, just love a really good gritty action film for sure.
I love that one. It's probably my favorite in the series. Although, like you, I do like all of them quite a bit. Funny enough, it's the only one that I've only seen once. You know, I've seen the first one twice. I've seen the third one twice. I've only seen this one once, but in my head, it's still my favorite one. So
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah,
But
it's probably close to my favorite one too. I'm kind of leaning towards it being my favorite, but I did like the first one quite a bit too. So
yeah, to me, it's like it does exactly what a sequel should do. Like it plays to all the biggest strengths of the first one, while expanding the world that it's set in. You know what I mean? Like, so it does everything the first one did well, while like deepening the world it takes place in and expanding it in a way that makes sense and is interesting. You know, so it's pretty much the perfect sequel. You know, and like I said, maybe if I watch it, I should watch it again so I can confirm that it's my favorite. But in my head right now, after watching it once 4 years ago, it's still my favorite in the series. So
absolutely.
Yeah, good choice.
Cool.
Yep.
All right. Moving on to your number 4, and I'll bring that in for you, and that is going to be The Lost City of Z.
Yeah. So The Lost City of Z. This is a really cool movie. I apologize that I didn't get. I pretty much stopped working today and went straight into filming, so I didn't have a chance to refresh myself on all these. But it's a really good kind of exploration movie. It's based on a true story of a British explorer who went searching for like this mystical city that no one really knew if it existed or not, and then he completely disappeared. He disappeared off the face of the map, and you know, people have always speculated about what might have happened to him, and it's kind of based on that story. And you know, it's made by one of my favorite filmmakers who I can't remember the name right now because I forgot to look it up before we started. But the director of this movie, he also made a lot of other really good movies that I'm blanking on also right now. But it's a really good movie. It's yeah, I know. It kind of reminds me of Apocalypse Now a lot in a way, because it's a movie about a guy who's like going down a river into very scary, mysterious places, and doesn't really know where he's going. And I will say it does provide its own explanation of what happened, sort of ambiguously. Again, that part kind of veers into fiction, of course, because we don't know what happened to the guy. But it does find a very good way of semi resolving, and in a way that's still kind of haunting and ambiguous. And it's just a real good movie. And I'm not doing the best job of selling it right now, but watch it. It's really good.
Cool. Yeah, I haven't seen it, so I really can't comment on it, whether it's good or not. So we're just gonna all have.
Oh, it is.
We're all gonna have to take Jason's word for it if we've seen it. Haven't seen it, I should say. So, which I don't know that. Yeah. I haven't really talked to anybody that I know of for sure that's seen it, but I'm sure people have. So. Yeah,
I can't remember. I mean, you liked his like one of the movies of his that I didn't really care for all that much was We Own the Night. Didn't you like that one a lot?
I did like that one. Yeah.
Yeah, and this is a very different kind of movie, but it's that guy who made that movie. He also made Two Lovers, which was really good. He made The Immigrant, which was really good. And I can't remember his name, but he's a really good director. So. Yeah.
Maybe someday. Stuff. Who knows? Maybe. Yeah. Someday when I'm just like, man, there is nothing on. I need to watch something. Oh, The Lost City of Z. It never happens. That never happens, but you never know. So.
Yeah.
Cool.
I don't know. You watch some pretty bad stuff, so I figure you must be pretty desperate sometimes.
I only watch good stuff, man.
I don't know. I don't know. There's evidence to the contrary.
Well, screw your evidence. Moving right along to my number 3, another action film, and that's going to be Logan. So I really like Logan a lot. I thought it's a really, really just fun film. What I like about it is it didn't have that typical Marvel feel to it. It didn't have that typical what's the universe of this one? I always forget what they're called.
X-Men.
X-Men. Sorry, I'm just drawing a blank for a second.
Yeah,
I didn't have that typical X-Men feel, because this one is a much older version of Wolverine, a more human version of him, and even all the other remaining surviving characters are much older as well, and they're all having issues. And Professor X is in it, and he's having issues being able to control his powers and stuff because he's getting old and he's got partial dementia or some sort of memory issue, and so he's having trouble controlling. I really like this. It's kind of like it's like if superheroes were like realistic, you know what I mean, and they aged and they got older. And this is kind of the result of what would happen to those superheroes as they aged and got older. So I really like this film. Like I said, I felt like it was definitely one of the best X-Men films that I've seen. I really like X-Men First Class a lot, the first one.
Yeah.
I like that one a lot, but I really do love this one quite a bit. Like I said, I just thought it was different. I thought it brought something new to the table, and I felt like it gave it more of a realistic story versus all these characters being able to like fly and lasers and all the other stuff that they do. This one seemed much more human and more like a real story. And then also introduces a wave to like a new crop of superheroes, I guess if you will, like the younger version of them as well. So yeah, I really love Logan. I thought it was just a really, really good story, and just like I said, in my opinion, it's the best. It might be the best X-Men film that I've seen for sure. So, and that was my number 3.
Yeah. Yeah, I love Logan. I thought it was great. However, weirdly enough, much like John Wick Chapter 2, I've only seen it the one time. But I did really like it. I mean, I bought it. It's up here somewhere. There it is, right there. So I bought it. I just haven't watched it again. So it will be watched again at some point. But I did really like it. I like the approach. It's kind of it's R-rated. It's definitely R-rated.
It's R-rated. Yeah, that was the other thing that I forgot to mention. It's R-rated, and it was the only one that. I don't know if it's the only one, but I know there haven't. Oh, Deadpool's R-rated also, so I keep forgetting about that one. So, but yeah.
Well, yeah, but I mean, I think it's a different kind of R rating. Deadpool is just kind of like gratuitous on purpose.
Just where this is, yeah, exactly, just to be just so you can curse and whatever. So
yeah, it's gratuitous on purpose. That's
right.
that's what it intends to do. Whereas Logan is just like it's a movie for adults, right. I mean, like it's got violence and it's got adult themes and language and all that kind of stuff, but it's just a completely different kind of movie, and it's more almost kind of almost like a Western sort of in a way, you know what I mean? Like modern Western, but it's really good. Again, I've only seen it once, so my memory isn't that strong on it. I definitely remember certain scenes, and I remember liking it a whole lot. I just haven't gone back to watch it. I remember it's really long. That's one thing. It's like 2.5 hours long, and
it is really
typically
long.
Those are the movies that I usually when I'm pulling something off of the shelf, it's like I tend to go buy those, unfortunately, unless it's the weekend and I've got all day, and stuff.
No, for sure. I mean, if it's like a Tuesday night, like today, and you want to watch a movie, the 2.5 hour one is usually the one I'm pulling out. You know what I'm saying? So
right.
Even the ones I really, really love, like even more so than this one, like The Godfather or something of that nature, which is even longer, of course. But that's usually now the one that I'm pulling out. It's just like I bought recently. I bought Zack Snyder's Justice League, and I'm like,
oh, is that out on Blu-ray now?
Yeah, it's not.
I didn't know. Oh, yeah, cool.
So I bought that one, but I'm like in my head, I'm like, when am I ever going to get around to actually watching this film again? I'm like, it's like 4 hours long or something crazy. I was like, I don't know.
Yeah,
I don't know when I'm going to get around to watching that again. So, but I do know
that's you got to do that one in 2 sessions for me.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah,
you got to have a lot of time to kill. So yeah, absolutely. Oh, cool.
Yeah.
All right, well, moving right along to your number 3. And I'll bring that in, and that is going to be Mother.
Okay, so this is quite a movie. It's directed by Darren Aronofsky, who is another. I remember his name. Is another one of my favorite filmmakers who has always been known for kind of pushing the boundaries, and that's always something that I really respect. He's made Requiem for a Dream, The Fountain, Noah, Pi. All very, very different movies, and all push the boundaries in some way or another. This is probably the most. He did Black Swan, The Wrestler. A lot of really cool movies, all very different from one another. But this is probably his most difficult and different and alienating movie of all, which is really saying something. And it's the kind of movie that just garners really strong reactions. You know, like people either really love it or they really hate it. And to me, that's always, even if I'm on the hate it side, to me, that's always the sign of something special. You know what I mean? Like, I'll take a movie any day that garners strong reactions on both sides. I'll take that any day over a movie that everyone just kind of generally agrees is pretty good. You know what I mean? Because to me, it means somebody's out there taking risks and chances and taking chances, and that, to me, that's art. Whether I like it or I hate it, that's art, as opposed to something that's just aimed straight down the middle for the mainstream. But anyway, this is a very strange movie. It stars Jennifer Lawrence and Javier Bardem. They're a married couple that live in a house out in the middle of nowhere. And they get some unexpected house guests, played by Michelle Pfeiffer, who it's great to see again, and Ed Harris. And that's all I'm going to say, because what happens after they get some uninvited house guests is really kind of indescribable. And that's hard to say because not very many movies are indescribable. And it is definitely not for everybody, but it is unlike anything you've ever seen in your life before. And you will either love it or you will hate it. And Kiera, I think you would hate it. So I'll just put that out there. Cool. I don't think you should go anywhere near this movie with a 10-foot pole. And a lot of people shouldn't go anywhere near this movie with a 10-foot pole. But if you like stuff that's really out there and crazy and wild and truly crazy, like I truly cannot believe I was watching this movie in a multiplex. And of course it didn't do well at the box office, and I'm sure the audience score was an F or something like that. But if you can appreciate really out there,
man, you are selling the heck out of this movie, dude.
No, I'm saying like 90% of people will hate it, but for the 10% of us out there, it's a masterpiece, and I think we're the right ones. So, you know, we're on the right side of history with this one, man. That's all I'm saying. You know what they
say about the masses, so you never know. So
yeah, exactly. And it's another really long movie, and it's also back here somewhere, and I have watched it again. I even almost watched it a third time, but then I was like, nah, I need something a little happier. So cool. Anyway,
well, yeah,
I love it.
Yeah. Doesn't sound like one I'm going to run out and check out for sure. So, but hey, you never know.
No, it's yeah,
probably not.
Yeah,
cool.
Yeah.
All right. Well, yeah, I haven't seen it clearly, so can't comment on it one way or another. But yeah, based on your non-recommendation for me, I probably won't see it.
Yeah, knowing you, it's probably not your cup of tea. I'll just put it that way.
Yeah. Well, I'll take your word for that as well. So, yeah. All right. Well, moving on to my number 2 film. Yeah. Number 2, which is one we've already talked about, and it's going to be It. So we've already went over that. It was on the previous show. It was in your bottom half of your top 10, obviously in the upper echelon of mine. I really, really enjoyed this film. I just think it's a really, really good horror film, in my opinion. Very complete horror film. Definitely one of the few ones in the last, I don't know, few years that I've really, really loved. Well, I wouldn't say it was the most terrifying horror film that I've seen in the last few years, but definitely it's up there in that upper echelon, and I really love it. It's really, really creepy, really good. The acting is really, really good. I know we had some debate in the last show about, who was the better Pennywise. I'm not going to get into that, but I do know that this is definitely the superior film, at least the first half, to the TV version of Stephen King's It. Like I said, I watch that one now, and I don't dislike it. Don't get me wrong. I still like it. It's still a classic, but it definitely feels a little dated, a little cheesy in parts. Whereas this one definitely, is void of any of that cheese, I feel like. So, but definitely just a really, really good film. So most people have seen it. If you had any desire to see it, you probably have seen it already. So I don't need to go too much into details, and we've already covered it on the previous show. But that is my number 2 film, It.
Yeah, I thought it was excellent. Loved it. I agree with you that it is better than the original, which is no which is not to take anything away from the original, because I grew up on it.
I don't mean to say I don't like the original. I know there's going to be purists out there that there's always going to be purists out there that think that anything that came out first is the better one, that you can't make a remake better than the original. There's always people that I run into that have that general thought, and most times it is true. I mean, I agree with that in most cases, but there are those exceptions, I feel like. And I feel like, you know, at least the first half of this film is better than the first half of the Stephen King version of it. I'll debate you on the second half, because I had some issues with the second part of the theatrical release of it. I still really, really like it, but yeah, I can debate that one a little bit. But this one is definitely, I feel like, a superior part. So
yeah, I definitely, you know, I agree. Like you hinted at, like, I still think the only thing that I don't think this one can top on the first one was Tim Curry as Pennywise. But not to say that Bill Skarsgård is not great as Pennywise, but to me, like, Pennywise will always be Tim Curry. But in all other aspects, I think this one is a superior movie. Whether it's you know, performances, casting, you know, cinematography, music, it's just a better movie, you know. And I think you know, there are always people out there that like automatically hate any remake. And I think that's just categorically wrong. You know what I mean? Like, it's not, a remake is not always better than the first one, but like to automatically dismiss any remake, I think is very short-sighted, and it's tunnel vision, and it's just not true. You know?
So for sure. Yeah, I mean,
this is one of the best remakes.
And even to some degree, and in some cases, I sometimes even cringe when I hear about a film getting remade. I'm like, why? You know what I mean? Or something of that nature. So I'm guilty of that as well. But I will, if it looks good and sounds good, I will give it a shot. But you know, I've never been a pro. This film needs to be remade. You know what I mean? You know, I mean, obviously, there's definitely some films that I've seen from like the 80s, or you know what I mean, that are cheesy and dated now, that, you know, if you redid it, I would definitely be like, oh, I wonder what that's going to look like, depending on who was starring in it or who was the action star or whatever case may be. I wouldn't be mad if, you know, any of the Arnold Schwarzenegger films that he made back in the 80s, if they had a remake and The Rock was in it or something like that. You know what I mean? I would still check it out if it looked good. If it looked good anyways, you know what I mean? So I wouldn't be like, oh, that's sacrilegious, or you can't do that. But the first one, the TV version, it feels like a made-for-TV version. You know what I mean? So I think that's the problem that I feel like that one gets, that I feel about that one now. And I didn't feel that way because I was a kid at the time watching it. But when I watch it now, it feels like a made-for-TV film. And I don't mean like a Lifetime film or something like that. But just it has that made-for-TV feel to it. You know what I mean? So there's not that edginess, you know, the scariness that you're going to get in this film is the only point I'm trying to make. So.
Yeah, I agree.
Cool. All right. Yeah. Well, moving on to your number 2, which is pretty familiar, and I'll bring that in, and that is going to be Ladybird. Wow, look at that. Yeah. So obviously, like I mentioned before, I love Ladybird a lot. You know, it was just a little higher up on your list. No need to repeat all the things I already said. Yeah, I mean, we pretty much already covered, you know, everything on this one. So I think we're good to go. So, but yeah, great film, great choice. Just a few spots up for mine. So, you know, obviously not going to argue on the placement of it, and you know, because you know, these top 10s. I mean, they're the top 10s, but you know, if we redid all of our top 10s again next year or something like that, some of these might even shift. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's just how tough.
Oh yeah, man. I'm sure if we started this whole thing over, they'd be different.
Back through everything again, like we did started in 1995, went back through. We would move some placements. We would shuffle some things around. That's just how it works. You know what I mean? That's just how top 10.
We're not going to do that though.
No, that's actually what I was thinking. I think we should do that. I think we really should go back.
Yeah, no, I don't think so. I don't think so. No.
No, I definitely don't want to do that ever, for sure. But no, but like I said, the placement always changes in my opinion. And even when I was doing my list this time, this is 2017. I didn't actually make a list for 2017, but what in my head, what I thought were going to be my top films ended up getting shifted around already. So that just happens.
Yeah.
So, yeah. But cool.
Yeah.
Great choice, of course. Number 1 is going to be pretty easy for both of us, probably for various reasons. My number one film of 2017 is going to be Get Out. So, another horror film. Weird, right? So,
Yeah.
it's actually weird. You're the horror guy, but it's actually weird that my top two films are actually horror films. So, so yeah. But yeah, so my number one film is actually Get Out, which is, was a huge, blockbuster hit. Catapulted Jordan Peele into, the horror guy that everybody's kind of looking out for in terms of, looking for his next films and things of that nature. Primarily comedian that made like a really just phenomenal horror film that deals with, social commentary and race and things of that nature. I really, really love this film quite a bit. Obviously, his follow-up film, Us, was really popular also. I didn't quite like that one as much as this one, though. But this one I thought was just phenomenal. I thought this is a really, really good film. Definitely one I've seen at least 3 times now. And every time I see it, I get something a little bit more out of it. And that is my number one film of 2017.
And it's also my number one film of 2017.
Oh, wow. I had no idea. Wow.
I know. Yeah. Oh yeah, it's great, and I've seen it also at least 3 times, maybe 4. And you're right, it's just one of those movies. I mean, any good movie should get better the more times you watch it, and it is one of those movies, that gets better every time you watch it.
Sure.
And it's just really well acted. It's really thought provoking. It's funny. It is. I think it's pretty short, right? I mean, it gets in and get at like hour and 45 minutes or something.
Yeah, I
think
it's that long. I don't think it's 2 hours. It's definitely not long, that's for sure. So
yeah, and we're both fans of movies that aren't longer than they need to be. You know what I mean? And it's not. It's a really creative concept. It's well utilized, and it's just a great movie. And it's a movie that kind of came out of nowhere. I mean, it's another one that seems to be a theme for 2017. There were a lot of films that kind of came out of nowhere and ended up being huge hits. Like, I don't think anybody, this was a kind of a surprise huge hit. Ladybird was kind of a surprise hit. That did much better than I thought it would. Baby Driver. So these are all movies that came out with not a huge amount of hype around them on their release, and then they just kind of soared from there. So it's great movie. I mean, everybody's seen Get Out at this point, so I don't really need to belabor it. But
we don't have to really go into huge detail on this one because, like you said, everybody and their grandma's pretty much seen it. So
yeah. And I did love Us. I did like you. I didn't love it quite as much as Get Out, but it did squeak into my top 10. I know for what was that, 2019? I think.
Yeah, I think it was 2019. I don't remember if it made my top 10. I have to look. I don't remember. So I did like it. I think it's
2019.
It just wasn't as good as. I just didn't think it was as good as Get Out. So for sure. So.
No, it's not, but it's still really good. Well, that is, Yeah,
it is really, really good for sure. Well, I did have a couple quick honorable mentions. Let's see. There was Brawl in Cell Block 99. Really like that one quite a bit. I thought Good Time was pretty good. I liked Thor Ragnarok. I thought was good. Star Wars The Last Jedi. Happy Death Day. Small Time Crime. I like that one quite a bit. I didn't expect to like that.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. That's pretty much it. Oh, and the one that you actually recommended, Ingrid Goes West. I like that a lot too. So.
Oh yeah. I have some runner-ups. I don't have an entire list like I did last time or the last few times, but all the ones you mentioned, I liked a lot. There's also a movie called Dave Made a Maze that I really liked a lot. Really creative indie. Split, really good. Good Time, like you mentioned. There were a lot of runner-ups.
I think Split was a little confusing because we had initially I think we had talked about that one for like 2016 or something like that, and so I don't know where that one ranks for me for if it's 2016, 2017. There's something weird about that one. I couldn't remember because we both had it on our list. I think for 2016 or something, right?
Yeah, that's because it was released. The IMDb date is 2016, but it wasn't released until I think January or February 2017. So that's when the wide release was early 2017. So I'm pretty sure that's why I counted 2017. It's on the list that I made that year. So I think that's probably the most accurate way to look at it.
Yeah. Yeah, so that'd be a runner-up for me. It actually might have been in my top 10, to be honest with you. It was kind of confusing, so I didn't include it. So, but yeah, definitely another really good one. So, cool. All right. Well, we have some challenge films for 2018. I believe you have one for me. So, what film are you going to have me watch for 2018? Again, maybe it's the first time. I'm sorry, anybody that's their first time tuning in, we basically challenge each other to a film for the next year that we're going to do our top 10 on that he's seen that I haven't seen, and vice versa. So obviously he's seen this film, and this is a film that I have not seen. So.
Right. And okay, so I'm going to go with one. We always send each other. We do a sorting thing on Letterboxd and send each other, movies from the year that we haven't seen, about 5 pages or so worth. And this time I'm going to pick one that actually wasn't in that set because I specifically know it came out in 2018, but it must be, it's not a whole lot of people have seen it, so it must have fallen below the, popularity rankings. But it's a movie called The Domestics. All right, it's called The Domestics. It is a cool little kind of apocalyptic action film, and I think you really like it. I've only seen it once, and it's been a few years, but I remember thinking this is a Kier kind of movie, and I look forward to watching it again one of these days.
Yeah, well, I like action films, so you're off to a good start. We'll let you know. So
yeah,
cool. Well, yeah, I'll definitely check that out. And then the film that I'm assigning to you is actually going to be Den of Thieves.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah.
I figured it'd be Venom. I figured you'd give me Venom.
No, I liked Venom, but I didn't. I think I actually kind of preferred Den of Thieves a little bit more, in my opinion. So I neither one of them are in my top 10, but I think I like Den of Thieves a little bit more. So Den of Thieves is basically like a watered down version of like Heat or like The Town, basically. So with two different groups, a group of like bank robbers and then like a group of like cops kind of thing. So I don't think it's as good as definitely not as good as Heat or The Town, but I think you might get some enjoyment out of it. So I'm not saying it's as good as either one of those two films, but it's not a bad film for sure. So.
Yeah, it's been on my list for a while. Like I remember hearing some really good things about it, and yes, I've heard that it's kind of like it's a little bit like Heat, and of course I love Heat. And it's got a cool cast. I mean, like I've never been a big Gerard Butler fan, to be honest. But that doesn't mean that.
I mean, outside of, I know you weren't a big fan of 300. I did like that film a lot, but outside of that film,
I like it.
I haven't really cared for most of his films, to be honest with you. So, but this one's good. I mean, he is Gerard Butler, so his character is like, it is what it is. But this one it's more similar to probably Heat than The Town because they do try to give a lot of equal time to both groups of cops and robbers, I guess, if you will, versus The Town. It was more primarily about the robbers. There was a group of cops, but you didn't get to learn a lot about their backstory or their personal lives or anything of that nature. So, so this one's probably pushed Heat in that sense, and that you got to find out about both of their personal lives, whereas The Town, you really didn't find that much about their personal lives. So.
Yeah, cool. Well, yeah, I look forward to it. Like I said, I wanted to see it. And it's got O'Shea Jackson Jr. in it too, doesn't it?
Yeah, it's got O'Shea Jackson Jr. in it. It's got Curtis Jackson in it. It's got Michael Jackson in it. It's got it's got all the Jacksons, Jackson 5s.
I don't know what to say to that, but
Curtis Jackson being 50 Cent, of course. So, but yeah, it's got a
yeah.
Cool. Yeah. So, and it's got a little bit of a twist too. So.
Everything does these days.
Yeah, everything does. Everything does. So, you
Yeah.
can't have a film without a twist. So.
Yeah.
Cool. That is
all right, man.
That is our challenges. So we'll be back again with another show. I don't think our next show is going to be 2018, more than likely. I still got a lot of films I got to catch up with over the weekend. So I'm pretty sure by next week we'll probably be doing more films, and then there's obviously some stuff coming out probably, or that has already come out, that I'll probably be watching this week also. So I don't know when we'll get to the 2018. I know there are a lot of people that do actually check out our 2000 our top 10 lists or whatever. I've seen people comment on those, and they really like those, or they give me their top 10s or whatever case may be for that year. But you'll have to hang tight, because we probably won't be doing that one probably for a little bit. So, and then I don't know what October is looking like, so because it's going to be a busy time for me for sure. So,
yeah.
But cool. But we'll be back again with another show. As always, let us know down in the comments, were there films that we missed from that year, or any that you liked that we didn't mention. Obviously, make sure you check out our first show, because we had some films on there as well. And then always, if you like the channel, we ask you to like, subscribe, make sure you hit that bell notification so you don't miss any of our updates. And we'll be back again with another show for you guys again real soon. We thank you for watching. Hope you have a great day. Bye.